Hello everybody, today is going to be a start of a new series on the channel. I'm going to be going through and doing a bunch of guides for different species, mainly the ones that I have hunted a lot, so I'm going to not really cover the species that I don't know much about, because I want to give you guys as much info as I can about them, so I'm going to mainly be doing the ones that I know a bunch about. So today we're going to be starting off with Pronghorn, and before we actually start, I'm going to show you guys my loadout. And currently I am using the 300 Magnum, the M1, the 22 LR, the Alexander Longbow, the Hyperion Scope, the L collar, the Turkey Mouth collar, and 5 different decoys. Well, actually, I've only got 4 here. I'm not sure where my 5th one went. I did have 5. I probably forgot to pick it up. A first aid kit, and the Apex View range-finding binoculars. Now, you can change this out if you need to, because a lot of these spots here do require you to have a tent. So if you want to carry a tent with you, I would swap out the M1 and the 300 and the longbow and put the 7mm there instead, because it can cover the same amount of species. And then put a tent in there instead. That way you can place tents wherever you want to, and it will help you out a lot when it comes to hunting them quickly and efficiently. So I do want to note that there's a few zones that I have not discovered yet when it comes to Pronghorn. Like, I haven't gone down here. I know that there is Pronghorn along this lake, so keep that in mind. There's even some out here, which is out of the zone. It's actually out of the map, technically. You can't really go in there, so it's not really worth going to this corner, but there is Pronghorn all along here. And, of course, all of the lakes that we're going to be checking out today will also have Pronghorn, so we're going to be going from place to place, just kind of showing you guys how I hunt them. And this is going to be a little bit more of an unedited video, so that you can see everything that I do on my normal Pronghorn runs. Now, for the sake of making this as easy as I can for beginners or people that have just got the map, we're starting at the beginner lodge, or starter lodge I should say, and we're going to be going right up to this right here, because there is a couple Pronghorn zones, so we're going to go straight up there. One thing that I did forget to mention that I would like to say now is you want to be starting at 8 a.m. That is the beginning of drink time for Pronghorn. Personally, I would put it to about 7:50, 7:55. That way they have a little bit of time to get out of their current zone. That way you don't waste as much of the drink time. Because if you just go straight to 8, then they'll still be at their other zones and they have to move out of them into the drink zones. So it's always good to start a few minutes early. Starting off, we already got some Pronghorn here though. I probably shouldn't have ran. Actually got a new zone there too. But as you can see, there's Pronghorn here everywhere. So it is a very good lake to go to. And they're usually on the other side also. Yeah, here they are. So we have quite a few Pronghorn for sure. Not sure if we got any good levels besides that one level 4. Doesn't really look like it, although I can't see all of them. We're just going to go ahead and shoot the level 4 for now. And see if we can maybe get one of these other males. It wasn't a vital hit, but it should go down. It for sure will now. Now, a lot of times after you shoot, you want to be looking around just to make sure that nothing is getting away that could potentially be a good trophy. Like right here, these all ran out of the brush. This gives us a perfect opportunity to see what was there. And it does look like there's not really anything big, so we didn't really miss out on anything by shooting that 4. It seems that all of these are pretty small Pronghorn. So what I'd usually do now is, since we don't have any hunting pressure on that side of the lake, I'm going to go ahead and shoot that 3 wherever he went. That's him right there. And he is down. And as you can see, there's still not a ton of hunting pressure, so we could shoot another if we wanted to, but I'm not going to because all of the males have left. That's another thing that I should say, I guess. If you have the tripod stands, then use them as much as you can, because they do reduce hunting pressure quite a bit. And even these stands right here that you can just build on the reserve, they reduce the hunting pressure a ton. I believe it's like 16 kills before it deletes a zone. With normal hunting pressure, it only takes 4 kills on the same spot to create enough hunting pressure to where it will delete a zone. So if you use the stands, you can kill, I believe, 15 total before it'll actually delete it. The 16th one would be the one that would take that zone away. So if you're using a stand, you can kill up to 15 animals at one zone, and you usually want to just kill as many as you can, and I think we actually passed that level 4. Or actually, it's somewhere close to here. Oh, we actually did pass him. We'll go back for that, but we'll grab these guys real quickly. There's that level 3. We hit liver and left lung. That's what dropped it. And right here is a level 2. So we'll head back and grab that level 4 now. Alright, here he is. I actually completely passed him. Went quite a ways past him, actually. But this is the level 4. It's by far the nicest one we got out of that group. It's not a big 4, but any level 4 is good to get down for the chance of having a good respawn and potentially getting a level 5 to spawn in, because the higher the level and the heavier the animal, the higher chance of you actually getting a diamond to spawn in. So you especially want to take the big ones if you can. Another thing that I'd like to say is, if you wound an animal and it runs off quite a ways away from where you shot it, it's not really worth chasing it. So I would just move on to the next lake, which is actually what we're gonna do right now, because that other one ran off. So you don't have to put the tent here. This one's actually a little bit closer than it should be, but I haven't had the chance to change it around. But this lake right here has a lot of pronghorn also, as you can see. We spawn in and immediately there's a ton of them, and that's a really big 4. That actually might be a diamond. That might be a diamond right there. If he stops, we're gonna take a shot on him. Being really stubborn though. And we got him down. So I didn't expect that. But I'll kind of show where all of them are around here. It's actually a really nice 4 too. Let's kill that also. And it is also dead. So you want to usually get at least 2 of them down. Since I'm not in a stand though, I'm not going to shoot more than 3. But here is another spot that's got a bunch of pronghorn. They're pretty much around this entire lake, which is pretty awesome. It's a very good spot. But let's go claim that level 5, or level 4. Because it was a really nice level 4. Had a max estimate of 110. This is going to be really close to diamond. I think it's going to fall just short, but maybe it'll surprise me. Unfortunately, it landed right in the brush, so this is going to be kind of not the best place to get it to land, but let's see what it scores. 97.90. We are 0.10 off of diamond on this guy, and I actually do not have these this rack on them yet, so I'm going to go ahead and tax that, because that's actually a really good looking pronghorn. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Let's go get the other one. It wasn't as big. It's probably going to score around 95 or 96, which is still pretty good. Alright, so here's this pronghorn right here, the 105 max estimate. Let's see what it scores. It's 94.10, so it's about what I thought it would be. This would score a lot higher, but this horn right here is actually a little bit smaller. As you can see on the true score screen, it's just slightly shorter. So that's what killed the score on this guy, but still a nice pronghorn. So next up, we're gonna go to these lakes right here. Now there is a lodge here. I didn't know that when I placed this tent, so I will remove this eventually. But you spawn here, and there's actually quite a few pronghorn that drink around here. One of the best lakes for pronghorn, I would say. The 2 that we looked at first, and then this one, are some of the best. And of course, the one time I'm actually doing a guide on them, they're not actually here, so that seems about my luck. We do have one there, but normally they'd be on this side, right here, and down here. But there's none here at the moment, sadly. Oh, there is some right next to us, though. Where'd these come from? That's actually a piebald female too. And she's down. So we're actually finding a lot more nice pronghorn than I was expecting to. I really want to get a piebald male, but we've only come across females so far. I believe this is the second one that I've seen. So that's pretty cool. Finding an almost diamond and a piebald. That is awesome. And there's one of those pronghorn I was talking about that drinks right there. Looks like there's only one here as of now. They might have a little later drink zone than the other ones that we went to, so that could be why they're taking forever to get there. Alright, so here she is, and this is indeed a piebald. That's awesome. Super happy to find another one of these. They are probably one of the coolest looking piebalds that they've added to the game. I really like the way they look. Super nice looking pronghorn. That's getting taxed for sure. Now, next you're going to want to go to this other lake over here, which will actually fast travel to this tent. That is the one good thing about having that tent there, is it's a little bit closer than the lodge, so if you're trying to jump to this other lake, you'll get there a lot quicker than if you were to go to the main lodge. So I see one pronghorn here, but this one's fleeing. I'm not sure if I spooked it or what, but it's kind of running away, so it's unfortunate. We do have usually some pronghorn right here, but I probably spooked them off by running through. There's an elk. Not what we're here for, though. But I have seen them right here. Like I was saying, they're probably spooked off because of me running. But there's quite a bit of stuff around every single lake on this map, which is awesome. Yeah, it looks like I spooked off all the pronghorns, but they do drink over here and over here, and I think they can also drink somewhere on this side. I think I remember seeing them at one point, but they're not there at the moment. But next, what I would usually do is go back to this lodge and run down here. Now, this lake doesn't really have a ton, and I need to set up a tent there still, so I'm not going to run over there right now. But you basically start at the lodge there, run down here, pronghorn drink right there, and right there. And I think over here sometimes also, but there's quite a few places that you can get pronghorn around this lake, so it's pretty awesome. I haven't really seen any along these two lakes, I don't think. Yeah, none of those zones are for pronghorn, but next we're going to go to right here. This lake usually doesn't have a ton of pronghorn, but there's always a few. So it's always worth checking, even if there's only a couple, because you never know when you could have a diamond hiding in a very small herd. I've had that happen a few times with other species, so you always want to check every spot you can. Now we're getting close to the end of pronghorn drink time. We've got about half an hour left, so we're going to try and get through as much of this as possible in that time. But once again, the pronghorn are not here. If I remember right, I have my tent a little too close. I'm going to have to move it back. They normally drink on this bank right here. And then there's also that little zone right there. Only a single pronghorn in there at the moment. And we got a pronghorn across also. And a level 4 right there. So we'll get that 4 down. And that level 3 too. To be honest, I forgot that I was supposed to be showing you how I hunt them. This has kind of turned into more of a just need zone guide, but I do want to continue to shoot a few to kind of show you how I would do it and how I try to make the most of my time. So basically the strategy that we're going with, in case I forgot to mention it before, you want to be able to hit as many of the need zones as possible before the drink time ends, because you only have a couple hours on this map of drink time for every species, so you want to be able to hit as many of them as possible within the shortest amount of time. So it is really good to be able to set up tents everywhere if you have the tent DLC. So always make sure you have tents set up at every single lake that a lodge is not near, and it will help you speed up the process by quite a bit, and you'll end up making really good time. I believe when I'm doing my normal runs, going at full speed, I'm able to hit every pronghorn lake before the need zone time runs out. But like I said, we're not going to hit up this one yet, because I still need to get a tent there, and I'm not going to hit this up yet because I have not got this lodge. But next up is going to be this lake right here. I have a tent set up next to it. There's also a stand that I like to use, one of the pre-built stands. Alright, so now that we're at the lake, as you can see, we got Pronghorn right there. They sometimes will drink in these reeds instead, but it looks like this time he is right there next to the mule deer, and there's the rest of the Pronghorn kind of tucked away in the grass. But they also drink a little bit further down, usually about there. We're out of render at the moment, but there's a few spots around here that they like to drink. And I believe they feed over here also, so you can come here during feeding time too and have pretty good success. That's a decent looking level 3 pronghorn. But depending on where your zones are, because they do change for every person, nobody's zones will be identical to one another, so it's always good to kind of adjust it as you see fit. If I can see one of these pronghorn, we'll take a shot on him. That's one. Well, they're not going to give me a shot at the moment, so we won't worry about it. Normally I would have taken at least 2 from this herd, claimed them, and then started looking down here. Another way that you can do it is shoot a couple there, immediately run the direction I'm running, and once the next herd gets in render, you would want to take a couple of them, and then go back around and claim the first 2, then claim the last 2. That's usually how I would do it, but because we spooked them, I can't really showcase that right now. As you can see, there's more pronghorn right there, tucked behind these bison. Just a 3 and a 2, so we won't worry about those for now. I think you guys get the idea for this lake. Kill a couple here, then kill a couple here. Next we got this one. This has actually been a really good lake for me. I've seen quite a few nice pronghorn up here. And as you can see, there's also Rocky Mountain elk up here quite often. I find the majority of my Rocky Mountain elk around this area actually. Quite a few of them come up here. But as you can see, we got pronghorn in the trees back here. And I've also seen pronghorn right here where this mule deer is. But it looks like they're not here at the moment. We probably spooked them off when we fast traveled to the tent. Because you want to make sure your tents are at least 150 meters away. And I think mine might just be on that limit, so it might be spooking them still. We've been having a little bit of those issues recently. So I might need to adjust my tents a little bit. That's another thing. You will have to adjust your tents from time to time, because need zones do change a little bit. There's like a minimum and maximum range that each species can have for their need zones. But there we go, that level 4 is down. They also drink over there if I remember right. We got some bison there at the moment, but they do usually sit over there also. Alright, so here's that level 4 pronghorn that we took out. This is a smaller level 4, but still not too bad. 79.40, just barely over the gold. About 3.5 points over it, actually. So it is a small level 4, but still a level 4 nonetheless. These are the ones that you want to be getting down, are the 4s and the 5s, because they are going to have the best chances of respawning as something good. 3s can give you a good spawn too. It's just a much lower chance than a 4 would give. So you want to mainly try to get as many of the 4s down as you can. And obviously 5s, as you would imagine, because a diamond always has a chance of spawning a diamond in. Sometimes you get lucky and are able to get the back-to-back diamonds like that. I've had it happen a couple times. It's not super common, but it does happen. So next you want to go, I believe, where else has pronghorn? I would imagine this lake, I haven't actually been to this one yet, but I would imagine it can probably have pronghorn. And these two, I believe, also have pronghorn, if I remember right. I've only been to these lakes once or twice, but I think I saw pronghorn at the one down here. And we do have a pronghorn mating call. So they are indeed at this lake here. We can get a spot on one. There we go. That's a little female right there. Not sure where they drink though, because she's not quite at her zone yet. But at least we know that they are at this lake. I'm not sure if there's any other herds around here, but... Oh, it looks like there might be, yeah. It's actually quite a few pronghorn here. That is awesome. That is really good to know. This seems to be a hotspot for pronghorn, actually. I didn't even really know that until right now. I had been here a couple times, but it was during their feeding time, so they weren't next to the lake. But that is awesome. That is awesome that they are here. That looked like a pretty big mule deer also. That's a level 4 right there. That's also a 4. We'll take him down real quick. I might have been a little too far forward, I don't know. Yeah, looks like we were too far forward, so I wouldn't even go for him. I would just go back to the tent and move to the next lake, because it's not really worth chasing them down unless it's an absolute monster. Alright, so I don't really see any pronghorn here. I'm assuming they spooked off because I fast traveled to the tent. Sometimes if you fast travel to a tent a second time, it has a higher spook radius. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that's intended, but I have noticed that it happens. So I would imagine this lake probably has some also, since they are here, and I'd imagine that this one can probably have a few also. But I think that's going to be about it for the guide. We've pretty much covered every potential pronghorn spot that I know of. Now, once again, I have not explored all of the map yet, so I could be missing a couple, but as of now, these are all of the lakes that I hit. So I hope this helped you guys out. Alright, so here's that piebald pronghorn. We are currently in my secondary lodge, so none of my main trophies are in here. We already have one of these in the main lodge, so I brought it in here, but this is what the little piebald looks like. And I'd say it's a pretty good looking model. I really like the way the piebald pronghorn look. This model in particular looks really, really good. Huge fan of it. And then the other thing that we have is our 97.95. Now this was about as close as you can get to diamond without it actually being a diamond, which was pretty insane, honestly. That's a really crazy big level 4 to get. I have seen a few people get diamond level 4s, so it is possible to get a diamond level 4. It's just kind of rare. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little guide right here. This is the first episode of our little guide series that I'm going to be doing from now on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any species you would like to see in the future, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this. It took a little while to make, but I think it's worth it to get all this information out to as many people as possible. But that's going to be it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Peace, my dudes.